talking about?
All your questions will be answered.
Welcome to the world of
Cinéma.
That's our tape.
Welcome to That's Our Take, where we, the Jacksons, discuss many of the over 12,000 movies we have seen with a focus on classic cinema. Today, we have with us a screenwriter, a director, a big fan of movies, and a servant to his community, the wonderful Tom Provost. Tom, thank you so very much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, we are thrilled, man. Tom has written recently or co-written the screenplay for Young Washington, which is releasing during over Independence Day weekend, and we'll get to that for sure today. But we want to start off since we focus here on classic movies here on That's Our Take, and really our whole organization, Red Carpet Cinema. That's what we do. We like to focus on older films, classic movies. We're going to ask you something, and we're going to put you on the spot. So we know you know your directors. So can you name for us your favorite or a favorite from one of each from each of these directors? So a favorite from Alfred Hitchcock, a favorite from Howard Hawks, a favorite from William Wyler, and a favorite from David Lean.
Can I go backwards?
Yeah, man, go for it.
Okay, David Lean, it's a tough one between Bridge on the River Kwai and Passage to India.
Oh, okay.
I would probably have to lean to Bridge on the River Kwai, but I love them both. William Wyler, Ben-Hur. I mean, there's a ton of movies there. What a guy and what a career, but Ben-Hur. Howard Hawks. Can I just say, I love Howard Hawks. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. He's the one director I know of who can work in any genre. He has directed one of the best movies in every genre: Western, gangster, romantic comedy, musical, whatever it is he's done. Gosh, that's tough. I'm going to pick a random one. Only Angels Have Wings.
Nice.
I love that movie, but I mean, there's so many to choose from, but I love that movie.
Yeah.
And so Hitchcock's the number one guy for me, and there's so many. And I don't mean to hedge, if you put a gun to my head, I'd probably have to say Psycho. But the Hitchcock film that affected me the deepest when I was younger was Rebecca.
Oh.
It's very dear to my heart because it had such a profound effect on me. There are a number of movies that had profound effect on me when I was, before the age of 10, and that was a big one. But there's so many to choose from. And Psycho I always liked it, but probably the 10th time I saw it, I finally saw it on the big screen, and the print was so pristine. You could see the mascara on Janet Leigh's eyelashes, and that day it became one of my top 20. I was like, this is an absolute masterpiece. You have to see it on the big screen to understand the effect that it really had. So
Yeah, we we host some classic movie events, and we had a festival that we did called Hitch Fest, where we just showed Hitchcock movies. And last year we showed Psycho, and people I know that had seen the movie tons of times before came back. They're like, on the big screen, it's a totally different experience.
I show it to my students every year, and a lot of them have not seen it, and they go nuts. And the other one I love to show on the big screen to them is Rear Window, because it's a perfect movie and it's so gorgeous. But yeah, so many to choose from with Mr. Hitch, but Rebecca's a big deal to me.
Yeah, that's really good. That's one of Laura's favorites.
One of my favorites. Yeah.
Oh,
I fell in love with that movie, and I was taking an art appreciation class in college. And in the art appreciation class, we got to pick a movie and write about it. And so I ended up and chose Rebecca and just wrote about it and from the art perspective. And I fell in love with that movie hard at that point in my life. Um, I'd already started liking classic movies by that point, but it's definitely one of those ones that helped push it a little bit further with how much I liked it.
I mean, it's so I'm a night owl and always was. And when I was very young, my family would all fall asleep and I would sneak down and watch the Late Show after the news. And in Texas, it was at 10:30. And one night, this movie I'd never heard of came on, Rebecca. And of course, it starts off very funny. I mean, what's her I'm having a brain fart. The lady, the awful lady who starts off the movie. It's so funny and it's romantic, and I was having such a good time. And the movie just spirals with twist after twist, and it gets darker and darker, and all the things at the end. And I'm a huge fan of Silver Linings Playbook, and there's this great scene in Silver Linings Playbook where he wakes his parents up at 2 in the morning and is screaming at them because he's so upset by the end of Farewell to Arms. And I woke my parents up at 2 in the movies lasted forever back then because they would show 5 minutes of movie and then have 10 minutes of commercials. And I had to wake my parents up at age 7 or 8. I was like, I just saw this movie, Rebecca, and da 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 da. And mom, God bless her, got up and sat with me for a little while. And she, anyway, it's just so good.
Oh, that's such an adorable memory.
No kidding, man. I had the exact same childhood. I would get up where we lived in South Dakota. PBS would show a lot of old movies, but late at night, So I would like wait till everybody's asleep. I'd get up and I'd go out in the living room and I'd watch. It's where I saw Night of the Living Dead. It's where I saw
Oh,
Citizen Kane.
yeah,
And yeah, man, it's like, you get this little theater for one moment. The frustrating thing is that you are by yourself and you want to like share everything with everybody.
yeah.
You're like,
Oh, yeah.
nobody else saw this. What a
My,
cool memory.
yeah, if I might, my other two big ones late at night like that were Charade. Had no idea what was coming on. Truly, still, I think one of the most entertaining movies ever made with the most amazing twist at the end. Blew my head off.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
then I was 8 years old, and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf started,
Yeah.
and I didn't know what the hell was going on, but I knew I was transfixed from the second that movie started. It's still one of my favorite films of all time, and Liz Taylor gives one of the great performances in the history of movies of all time in that movie. And I mean, I didn't wake anybody up, but the next morning I was like, Mom, what did this mean? And what did this mean? And what was going on? And anyway, those were my big three late night discoveries.
That's fun.
It's great. We haven't seen
Who's
Virginia
Afraid of
Woolf.
Virginia Woolf? Yeah.
Yeah, not yet. We need to.
Masterpiece.
Um, yeah.
Absolutely.
I like Liz Taylor. We're fans of Giant for sure. And she's great. Everybody's great, and that's top
Yeah.
notch, that movie.
And for me, also, Place in the Sun.
Maybe see, and that's George Stevens too. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to see that one. Yeah.
Oh, great film, and she's magnificent in it. I mean, she plays kind of the dream girl. It's not a part like Virginia Woolf or even Giant. She just plays the girl everyone falls in love with, and she's magnificent. And it's a
Mm.
great film. Shelley Winters, unbelievable performance in that movie.
She's overlooked, man. I like Shelley Winters.
Can I tell a Shelley Winters story?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So late in like Shelley Winters was a very formidable woman even before she was big, and didn't take any BS from anyone. And late in life, there was a young director, and who was going to make a movie, and they said, "Oh, Shelley Winters would be great for this part." He had no idea who she was, and he made her come in to audition. And so he's sitting in this room behind this desk, and she comes in with this big bag, and she sits. And he's like, "Hello, how are you doing?" She doesn't say anything. She sits there for a second. She reaches into the bag and pulls out an Oscar and slams it on the desk. Sits there for a second. She reaches into the bag, pulls out another Oscar, slams it on the desk. And she goes, there are some people in this town who think I can act. And she took the Oscars and left.
Oh man.
That is a great story.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's great. There's what was I just watched it again recently? Odds Against Tomorrow.
Ooh, I have not seen that. What is
It's
that?
her, Robert Ryan, Harry Belafonte, and Ed Begley. It's
Wow.
it's a Robert Wise movie.
Oh my God. All
Uh,
right. I'm in. My goodness. Wow.
yeah, it's pretty stellar. It's like this. It's total noir. Yeah, you gotta. In fact, let's stop right now. Let's all go watch that movie.
I do that all the time. Okay, I'm gonna look that. I will probably watch that tonight, frankly.
Oh,
Yes,
cool, cool. Reach back to us and tell us
I
what you think.
will. I will.
So you fell in love with movies pretty early in life. Wow, who did that to you?
My earliest memory as a child is sitting in the movie theater, and I knew then that's what I wanted to do. And for much of my early life, and continued on, it was always acting. But when I was 13, 14, no, 15, mom and dad and I, we were a big movie going family, and mom and dad and I went to see Dress to Kill by Brian De Palma. And the directing in that movie is so phenomenal. I'd never really quite seen anything like that. I remember the three of us were sitting there, and there's this museum sequence that's very famous. It's this 10-minute sequence with no word. In fact, most of the first part of the movie has no words. And I remember it ended, and we just looked at each other like, "Oh my gosh, what have we just seen?" But
Mm,
that was when I didn't fall out of love with acting at all. But that was when I really started to think about what was going on behind the camera as well. And so my love for all aspects of the film medium just continued on from that point.
that's great, man. That's totally cool. Um, the uh, the acting, I want to get to that real quick. Laura, did you know that this guy was on one of the coolest TV shows ever?
Oh, which one?
It starred Jonathan Brandis.
God bless him.
See,
Yeah.
was it Sequest? Yeah.
Sequest, DSV, Sequest, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
A few
Talks
times.
Yeah, talks about that because that's one of those shows that I feel was so good, and then they like the second season or something they changed so much,
Well,
and
yeah.
It was a show ahead of its time. It
yeah,
really was. I don't think people were quite ready for what that show was, and I think that's what it struggled from.
It was that, and that it was so expensive, most expensive TV show
Oh
ever
yeah.
at that point. Spielberg has said he was very involved in, I think, Schindler's List at the time. And so even though he was executive producing it, he really wasn't involved that much, and he wished that he had been. And there was a lot of conflict behind the scenes about the creative direction of the show. Was it going to be an action adventure, or was it going to be more of kind of an esoteric sci-fi show? Some people wanted one, some people wanted the other. And so it never really, I think, personally found its true rhythm. Some episodes would be one, some episodes would be the other, and so the audience was a little confused. But I'm sorry, for me, it was my first big acting job, and it was on the Universal lot. So I got to drive onto the Universal lot, and I'd already been to Universal Studio dozens of times because I let go in on the fan side and go to the amusement park and take the tram and see everything, which was just heaven. But I had a trailer, and I got to dress in the Sequest uniform and would very purposefully wander out of my trailer and just walk around so that when the trams walked by, they're like, "Look, there's an actor out," So it was, and I got to do a lot of stunt work. So it was as much fun as I've ever had. It was, for me, it was just a blast. I loved
wow,
That's
that's great.
amazing. I'm low key jealous right now.
it. Probably still my main claim to fame, acting wise, though. But I'm proud of it, and it was fun.
That's
Awesome.
cool. That's what a good show to get onto. It's so good. I want
Well,
to go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, the one disappointment for me really is that I was at that time already a Roy Scheider freak from Clute and Jaws and all that jazz, one of my favorite films, and Blue Thunder. Like I knew all of those, and I knew his, and I never got to do a scene with him. I was never even on the set with him.
Oh,
Yeah, because I was like a lowly crew member running around with the other crew. So I never got to meet him, but still,
wow. Well, that's you were there in spirit with him. So,
yes. Yeah.
um, talking about, you said with Dress to Kill that you started thinking about behind the camera too, right? So there's something that I've read that you've talked about. English is your thing, right? Like English language and all that. You're really into that whole deal.
Yeah, literature and writing. I've just, I'm a writer, so as every writer I think in the world has, I've just finished the requisite novel, which we could talk about. But I, it's hard, really, to be honest, for me to say which had the bigger effect on me in life, movies or novels. And I probably ultimately, as much as I love movies, would say novels because there's so many novels that had such a dramatic effect on me, the same way movies have. But I love them both. And as a writer, I just love language and
Mhm.
words and a great writer. I mean, there's so many that I love that I would love to emulate.
Yeah. Books are great. Hitchcock himself even said that books are great. They make great doorstops. Um,
Exactly.
uh,
My goal in life, right at doorstop.
yeah, exactly. But there's something that you've said. You're talking about how you learned about film grammar. Um, and I mean, I think I might know what you're talking about, but like just for our audience, what do you mean by that? What to you is film grammar?
Well, on the most simple level, film grammar would be editing. And so I don't have it in front of me, but one of the examples I use with my students, I'm also a college professor, is there's this great example where there's a sentence with 6 words, and it has, if you rearrange the words, the same 6 words, it has so many different meanings. And one of my favorite stories is at the beginning of movies when they were figuring out how movies worked and specifically how editing worked, because you could basically say film is editing, which is why long takes have such an effect and are so strange and develop so much tension. Anyway, um, there was the story is that it was Emil Jannings, very famous silent film German actor,
Yeah. Last
and
Command.
yeah, and that an early silent film director, film team put a camera on him and they said, just wipe any expression from your face. And so they just wiped. He just was staring straight ahead, not thinking of anything, blank movie screen. And so they took that and they put a bowl of soup on one side of it, his face, bowl of soup on the other. So that's the film. That's the cutting. And they showed it to the audience. The audience was, and they're like, what is he thinking? They're like, oh, he's so hungry. He's a really good actor. He's conveying that he's hungry. And then they took the same expression and put a belly dancer on either side of it, screened it, same expression. What's he thinking? Oh, he's an amazing, same people, amazing actor. Look, now he's thinking about he's sexually attracted to that woman. And they were like, bingo, the way you put images together and rearrange them can completely change how the audience feels. And ultimately, as a director, what are you trying to do? You're trying to manipulate the audience into feeling something. And Hitchcock's the master at it, Spielberg too. They when they're on, they know exactly what they want the audience to feel and how to get the audience to feel. So at a base level, I'm nerding out, but at a base level, that's film grammar. But then it spirals into color and sound and lighting and shadow in the frame. Are you shooting 4:3? Are you shooting 16:9? Are you shooting CinemaScope? They all contribute to film grammar. And what I try to teach my students is you have to step back first and determine your objective. What is your objective as a storyteller? What do you want the audience to feel and think? And then your objective will help you figure out how you want to use all these wonderful adverbs and adjectives, I would say, color, lighting, sound, editing, to put them together to form your grammar of basically your sentences, which are your sequences in a movie.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
That's no, that's really thank you for saying that. That's everything you said makes total and complete sense to me.
Well,
And it's just what a great idea to take what we already know in grammar and language and apply it to cinema. And it it makes it seem, to be honest, it kind of makes it seem like it's a little easier to work with now. Now we
Well,
know.
really, I think it's harder now because like he paints such a vivid picture of sight, sound, color, all these things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, forget it. It's can't do it. My brain exploded.
well, I will agree with you both. At its base, it's very simple. The problem is, let's just take where you place the camera. Where you place the camera completely affects what the audience feels and thinks. So in one sense, like, oh, okay, now I know if I want the audience to think this, I can place the camera. The problem is there are a million choice every one of these. So this is where I go on Laura's side. Every one of these, there's a million choices, and it's trying to learn the grammar well enough so that when you are faced with that choice, where I put the camera, how much lighting do I have, what color do I use, the more you learn about the actual grammar, then when you're faced with those infinite number of choices, you can ultimately pick. And you don't always pick the right one, but you just have to pick at some point.
That's interesting. So I'm
I love the way you explain it. It just like makes so much sense to me.
Right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
oh no, you're fine, babe. I so I'm going to mention we have a friend. He's a loyal listener of ours. His name's Bo. He recently shared a an interview with Orson Welles. He's a big, he's a Wellesian fan. Um, and in there, Orson Welles was being interviewed about kind of this very thing. Like the interviewer had asked him, like, "Do you ever have trouble where knowing where to put the camera?" And he's like, "No, no, I know exactly where I'm going to put the camera." And he's like, he was kind of struggling, like, I don't really understand, why other filmmakers have a hard time with this. Like, I know where I'm going to put it's the stuff that the actors do. I don't, whatever they do, they're going to do, but I know where I'm going to put the camera, going to place it. And so, taking everything that you've said with your knowledge and how you construct things, and this idea of, like you said, where to put the camera. You stepped into the role of director for The Presence,
Yes.
which I had a chance to watch.
Oh dear.
And yeah, no, 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 man, I don't know why more people aren't talking about this movie.
Well, thank
Uh,
you.
I no, it was a solid film. Stepping in as director, I'm sure you've probably directed some stuff before then, maybe short films or whatnot prior.
Yeah.
Um, But what was that like? Did you know? Were you confident in your own grammar? Did you know like what you were putting together or what?
I was confident until the second day of shooting. And the second day of shooting, something I had planned was such a debacle that all of a sudden all the confidence went out of me and I started to freak out.
Oh,
Uh, I was very arrogant. I knew exactly what I'm going to do, and I had it all planned out. We had the movie storyboarded and everything. And then there's this scene that was a debacle. And the lesson I learned that day was no matter how sure you are, always have a plan B. And I didn't have a plan B because I was so confident that what I had chosen was gonna work, and it didn't work. So it was a great lesson. Um, but I had a very good time doing it. I would love to do something like that again. I've been trying to get a couple of films to direct off the ground. It just, you get the money falls through, all that kind of stuff. But um,
right.
it was. I will say this: whether whatever in the movie works or not, every choice in there was very specific. And it was fun working with an amazing crew and cinematographer and actors, of course, to be that specific with every single shot. There was at
Yeah.
least a reason behind it.
That cinematography, like you mentioned, was super good. Who was that? Was that Colin
His name's
something?
Colin Brink, and I don't think he's even a cinematographer anymore, but I agree he was pretty phenomenal.
Yeah,
Uh,
damn man, it was really beautiful.
yeah. I mean, I stumbled onto this location that just wherever you would put the camera, it was so beautiful. And uh, I'm a believer that a movie should become what it wants to become, which sometimes is very different than what you plan. And I had planned for that movie in the script stage to be a much darker film, maybe even black and white, to be a lot scarier.
Mm,
And
hmm
when we started shooting in this location, the location was so gorgeous. It was impossible not to use the location. And Mira Sorvino, the lead actress, at one point said, "This is like a dark Grimm's fairy tale." And as we shot, and then in particular in post-production, the editor, Cecily Rhett, amazing editor, and I really just started to feel like the movie wanted to be more of a gothic romance than a scary movie.
hmm
And so we let it become that. And one of the things that pleases me about it is women in particular love the movie, and so many women who see it compare it to Jane Eyre and Rebecca. So that makes
I
me,
get that vibe, man.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
I get that. You know, actually, too, another one I'm going to throw in there. Oddly enough, I felt a lot of Ghost and Mrs. Muir in that.
Oh,
Um,
yes, definitely, definitely.
and I just like where it's a creepy ass like vibe, but it's not scary. It's
Right.
romantic.
Yes.
It's really good. Laura hasn't had a chance to see it yet, so I'm excited to show it to her. It's
Great.
terrible, Laura. You're not gonna like it.
It's short. It's only like 89 minutes, so it's short. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that right there determines how we watch movies sometimes.
Definitely.
We'll like, what do we want to watch, and we'll pick out a whole bunch, and we're like, okay, what's the running time?
I'm the same way, believe me. I mean, I haven't, and people love it or hate it, but I haven't even seen The Brutalist yet, which I want to see. But every time I'm like,
Hmm.
watch The Brutalist, it's 10:30, and it's like, nope, because I'm not going to watch it in pieces. So I've
Right.
scheduled a time to watch a 3 hour movie.
Yeah.
We've learned being a family of three kids, it's difficult to sit down and watch something all the way through. But
No judgment.
dude,
No
no,
judgment.
no, 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 no. Let me, I need to tell you, we so Laura and I kind of have this funny reputation. We've seen a junk load of movies, but there's some movies we just haven't gotten around to. And some years ago, we had never seen Gone with the Wind,
Oh my,
and
yeah.
and we were doing laundry or something.
We're doing laundry at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, and we couldn't think of something to watch. So
Yeah.
we just put in Gone with the Wind because we're like, yeah, I doubt we're gonna finish this movie. Let's just put it in. And we stayed
It
up all night watching it.
is so good. It's
It
so,
is so good.
Yeah.
yeah.
We
It
ate
is a
that up.
classic.
You know what mine here's the thing. I would say don't feel bad because the joy of having certain movies you've never seen, even if you've seen a lot, is that you finally discover them at some point. So
Yeah.
one
For
of my
sure.
big ones 2 years ago, I don't know why I'd never watched it. Fred Zinnemann's one of my favorite directors, and I just had this sense. Sometimes, a lot of movies that win Best Picture kind of suck. There are different reasons that they won Best Picture, um, cultural reasons at that year. I mean, whatever. And I had never seen From Here to Eternity. I had just avoided it.
Hmm.
And I sat down and watched that movie, and I watched it twice straight through. It blew my head off. That is such a great film.
That is a solid picture.
It's
Ever
so good.
just top-notch acting from everybody. I mean, Sinatra, holy cow.
So yeah, the guy that's the role that's the role that they reference in The Godfather, right? That's the one.
Okay, so don't hate us.
Okay. Haven't seen it?
We
No.
haven't seen Godfather. No.
Okay, it's my favorite movie. It's the movie that my production company, Khartoum, is named after, and
The
I'm
horse.
excited. I'm excited for you. Yeah, I'm excited. There's a funny story about that also, but I'm excited for you because it is so good. You're gonna die. It's so good.
We have See, the thing is we avoid them kind of in a way because there's hype, right? And we want to give the movie a fair shake.
Yeah,
We don't want to like, and that's how it was with Gone with the Wind. That's how it was with Casablanca. We just watched
Casablanca.
that.
That was like a big one though, because Jason and I love old movies, and everyone um who might like film but isn't as into it, they're gonna rattle off the ones they see and they're gonna say things like Gone with the Wind or Casablanca. And I'm like, yes, but there's so much more to classic and good cinema out there than just these two films. Please tell me you're going to watch more than that. And so everyone's like, oh, Casablanca, Casablanca. And so finally, was it just last year, Jason?
Yeah, last year, the year before, I could probably look it up, but
and what happened when you watched it?
I'll tell you
um,
this.
yeah.
It 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 was better than I thought it would be, but I didn't get the hype with the romantic relationship because I felt that Bogart's character was amazing. His character was my favorite by and large in that movie. When it came to now's my turn to have the brain fart. What is her name?
Ilsa
Bergman.
Bergman.
Yeah,
Ingrid
when
Bergman.
it
Yeah.
came to Ingrid Bergman, when it came to her part, I didn't care about her. I didn't feel sad for her. And other people are like, she does such an amazing job. Maybe it's because I've been exposed to so many other movies, and you think
Yeah.
about the grammar, where did they place the camera, and where am I when that camera is placed, type of a thing in my life. Maybe in a few years I'll understand her part more, or maybe not. But this time in my life watching it, I was like, really? That was her performance? I've seen her perform, and I gotta tell you, I felt it was a little phoned in. And but when it came down to Bogart, I'm like, that's a Bogart movie to me. I loved his part. I loved how they ended the film. It was great. But it was definitely one of those ones that I'm not gonna, if someone says, oh, well, they haven't seen it, then I'm gonna be like, what? I can't believe you, because that's what we would get, especially as people who love cinema so much. People think, you're committing a cardinal sin right off the bat by not seeing that one.
You know,
Yes, sure.
some people would say the great romance in that movie is between Humphrey Bogart and Claude Rains.
I
Hell
agree.
yeah.
You know?
It is.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah,
Claude
they're
Rains is
amazing.
amazing in
amazing.
that
Oh,
movie
And
too.
look,
so
I mean,
good.
we all have performers we don't connect with. And I don't know if you don't connect with her, period, or just in this movie. I love her in Casablanca, but for me, the pinnacle of her acting, which is as good as it gets, is Notorious.
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 Yeah.
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 And
For sure.
for me, she's just so I don't care what she's doing or what she's wearing. Like she is just so ravishing. Um, but no, I get you. That's completely fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny for me is I never put Casablanca on my top whatever list, but every
Yeah.
time I watch it, I'm just like, damn, this is a good movie. It's just
Yeah.
solid, you know?
So, there's those movie books out that are always like 1,001 movies to see before you die. So
Yeah.
Jason and I have always joked about writing our own book that would be like 1,000 movies and not Casablanca, just because, like, why make mention of it? Like everyone already knows.
Yeah.
It's also like I love Singing in the Rain. It's great too. But again, I don't need to bring light to it. I need to bring light to these ones over here in the dark that have gotten forgotten.
1,001 great movies you haven't seen. There's your book
Yeah.
title.
There
Yeah.
you go.
But
We'll do it.
let me go back and say I do not think myself or anyone can hype Godfather too much for you.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm laying that challenge down and just
All right.
try to see it on the biggest screen you can because I will say I always loved the movie, but I'd always seen it on TV. And there's years that this is going to date me, but I had just moved to LA and I guess it was right before the dreadful episode one came out for Star Wars, what they now call episode one. And,
Yeah.
and they showed um, four, five, and six, Star Wars, Empire, and the other one, Return, whatever. I don't like that one. They showed them at the greatest movie theater of all time here in LA, Grauman's Chinese Theater.
Cool.
And so I went to see them all three. But then for a big anniversary, they showed The Godfather, and it was the first time I'd ever seen it on the big screen. I'd seen it many times, first time on the big screen. I went every day, 5 days in a row. I just felt like I was going to film school every day. And it's just a fantastic movie. And I can't say because I don't want to spoil something, but there's even a one moment in The Godfather that I'd never quite understood. And interestingly enough, Luke and Darth Vader's relationship helped me understand this moment in the movie. And the horse sequence defies belief in terms of craftsmanship and music and acting and the way it happens. It from a film standpoint, it's one of the great film sequences of all time. But I cannot wait for you one day to see it and tell me what you think.
Is Coppola
For
there
sure.
with you right now? Um,
Exactly.
no,
Right.
no. Thank you for the recommendation. We're gonna watch it at some point. We kind of have to surprise ourselves with
Yeah.
it.
I don't think it's as much of a movie I need to surprise myself like Gone with the Wind or
Yeah.
Casablanca was,
Yeah, yeah.
but
May,
definitely on our list.
may I tell you my cartoon story? Because I think you'll get a kick out of it.
Yeah, yeah, please do.
So when I was going to name, you have to for various reasons, you have to have your own film company, and I wanted it to be movie referenced, but I didn't want it to be obvious. And I love The Godfather, and I was born when I was born. I had a horse. I had a horse my whole life, so I decided to name my production company after the horse, Cartoon, Khartoum, right? And if you look at and there's a whole thing. I have a logo, and the logo matches that very original piece of filmmaking from the 1800s. It's one of
The
the first.
Moy Bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right. So anyway, so I was so excited and so proud. Um, so we're making the presents, and we had a big investor pull out $100,000, and
Uh,
I had to find we were shooting the movie, and I had to find $100,000 and have it in the bank Friday afternoon, so that when I wrote the checks to the crew for about $45,000 on Saturday, or my producer wrote the checks, that they wouldn't bounce. And it was one of the most stressful, probably the most stressful week of my life, directing this
Yikes.
movie and trying to find this money. Well, what I didn't know when I named the production company after the horse and the Godfather is that there is a city in the Middle East called Khartoum, and it's apparently, at least at the time, was the #1 terrorist training ground in the world. Like, if you get off an airplane in the Khartoum airport, there's like signs, terrorist training school, come visit us or whatever. So we found this investor, and the money was supposed to be wired into my account from Merrill Lynch 6 p.m. on Friday. It didn't come. It didn't come all weekend. We're writing checks. They're going to bounce. Merrill Lynch was in New York. They had closed down. So I called them Monday morning. I was like, "Where's the money?" And they said, "Sir, Homeland Security has stepped in. They think you're a terrorist organization because your name is Cartoon." And I thought, I am never going to see this money. The government's going to keep it forever. And thankfully, I had a website, cartoonfilms.com, and they saw it and they're like, "Oh, okay, here's the money." But
Oh, geez.
at that point, I was like, okay, probably not the best name for a production company.
Hilarious. Like, how do you prove? You're like, I'm not a terrorist. How do I prove this? I
Yeah,
promise I'm not. Give me my money.
exactly.
Are
Very
Anyway,
you
true.
guys, so are you keeping Khartoum? You're going to change it to like Al Qaeda or something?
it's too hard to change. Yeah, I'm
Al Qaeda.
happy being on one of the top FBI's top most wanted lists. Most, I'm sure
I like
they're listening to us right now, so be careful what you say.
For sure.
they are.
Hey, it bumps up our numbers. We're okay with it.
There you go. Exactly.
I liked what you were talking when you were talking about seeing Godfather again on the big screen. So that's like Laura and I's thing, you know. So we have you seen The Passion of Joan of Arc?
I have not.
Okay. Well, go watch it.
I'll watch
And
And because that's
Well-
Ingrid, right? That's Ingrid Bergman, right? Or no?
no. That's she is in a movie called Joan of Arc, yes.
Okay.
But this is a silent film.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, got it.
And anyway, I've seen this movie, you know, a few times, and it was always on, you know, TV or something. And we did for one of our festivals this year, we decided to do a theme of just all silent movies. And
Nice.
and we showed Passion of Joan of Arc. And you know, I'm in pain, I'm walking around kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but I want to see this on the screen. And so I kind of just peeked my head into the theater and I'm watching this. I'm like, holy cow, the impact is so different when
So,
it's on this big screen. It's you can't describe it unless you've done it, unless you've seen it. Many movies have been like that. We've shown Leave Her to Heaven, which is another one I only saw on TV, and then I saw it on the big screen. I'm like, gee whiz, this is so different. And I'm going to segue here with this because the theatrical experience is huge for us, and it's well, how do you feel the theatrical experience is going right now?
I think it's getting better, thankfully. I mean, so many things always try to kill movies. You know, radio was going to kill movies, TV was going to kill movies. It hasn't died, and the pandemic's going to kill movies, hasn't died yet, struggling. But this has been such a good year. I mean, God bless Project Hail Mary. I saw that movie 3 times in 4 days. Fantastic movie that has, really rejuvenated the box office at the beginning of this year. And then, of course, I am obsessed with Obsession. and Backrooms. I'm thrilled with both of those. And there are the to me the point is the audience is there and wants to go to the theater. Will Hollywood make the movies that the audience wants to see?
For
And
sure.
I'm loving that a lot of different actors and filmmakers are using those three movies in particular, Project Hail Mary, Obsession, and Backrooms, to say, okay, can we? And I hope Young Washington turns into one of these. Can we start telling really good stories again that the audience, and I love darker films. So there are people out, there are a lot of people who wouldn't necessarily respond to Obsession. I loved it. I love, Seven's one of my favorite movies. It's a whole therapy session we could go into as to why I like those along with, Notting Hill, or What's Up, Doc. But um, the audience is there and will go to the theater if Hollywood gives them the type of movie that they want to see, and they're all different types. So
Mhm.
I feel encouraged.
That's
That's
good.
awesome.
And that's where I was going with it, because not unlike movies of the past, where sort of the tentpole ones survive, all these other really great films have just been filtered and lost. And we're trying to find them. Today, there's so many movies out there,
Yeah.
and it's easy to get lost. And we had a chance to watch Young Washington, and I hope this movie does not get lost. Um, it is so good. It is so good.
Thank you.
Um, I'm gonna tell you, like beforehand, before I watched it, are you on Letterboxd at all? Do you do Letterboxd?
I'm on it, but I haven't read. My students keep bugging me to do it, and I would love to do it. I just am kind of so swamped. I need to get in. I think once I get into it, I'll really get into it. But
Yeah.
I'm not yet.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
It could also be aggravating. So I'm like, well, I wanted to see like how Young Washington was training, because I know there was pre-screening, and I think it was at Tribeca too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Um, and there's some people that were like not kind, and I'm like, what are they talking about? And it did kind of sway me for a little bit, and I'm like, well, now I'm skeptical about this movie. Their reviews are very transparent. These are people that were probably going to hate the movie no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on record here and say that do not you have to watch this movie yourself. It is spectacular. As I was watching this movie, I was Laura was at work and I was texting her, and I'm like, this is so good. One of the things that I found truly remarkable about this, and I want to ask you about this, is that it is not a political movie.
At
It's a
all. No.
it's a historical movie, but
Yes.
it is not political.
No.
Um,
I
and
love that aspect of it. And
Not.
so Jason said he watched it, and he did watch it without me. He watched it with our two oldest boys. And then the next day I watched it with Jason. And so it's not like I haven't seen it. I just didn't watch it with him, but he
yeah,
really liked it. Um, but I that's one of the things I love the most about it is that it's not a political movie. It's so historical.
It is not. And a lot of us are really trying to emphasize that it is not a political film. Um, uh, it's not a conservative film. It's not a religious film. And
right,
I think because Angel Studios is involved, and I think what they are doing is great, and their pay it forward
mhm,
mission that they have is
Campaign.
wonderful. Yeah. But because, I saw a review from Tribeca where the guy was livid. He went into the movie at Tribeca and he was like, and the Angel Studios logo came up and he hated the movie immediately.
right,
And
yeah,
he said, I can't believe Tribeca put an Angel Studios movie here. And it's like, all right, and I'm not going to say the movie's perfect. There are things people can criticize, but even now you can see a lot of the critics are reviewing Angel, not the movie. And
right,
I don't think there's any way around that. But the audience response in the screenings from people on the left, people on the right, people who don't care about politics like me, it has been wonderful. So I do think it's apparently tracking pretty well. I think it will open well, and our hope is that it kind of blossoms from that, because I do think the word of mouth is going to be pretty spectacular.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's you're totally right. And this man, what a shame that the culture of uh of this. Well, it's a faith-based company, so then it can't be a good movie. Um, Likewise, in other films, oh, if it's PG rated, it's probably not going to be Oscar worthy, right? Um, and I remember Marley and Me, just as a little side note. I remember thinking Jennifer Aniston's performance in Marley and Me was just truly spectacular. And I knew watching it, I'm like, this is going to get no recognition because it's a family movie, it's PG,
Yeah.
it's not real. And there's this stigma, I think, maybe with Hollywood and some people that um that, oh well, it's going to lose an edge,
Yeah.
it's not going to be realistic. I'm like, just just watch the movie. It is. I was blown away. The script is so good, Tom. The script is so good. um I I
Thank you.
I I found myself just like wrapped up in this character who has a duty to serve his fellow man. Like that's his thing. And I felt, and that's what I wanted to ask you, like as you and Diedrich, right? Diedrich was
Yeah.
a writing partner. As
Yes.
you guys were writing this, did you have that in mind? Did you have like, how can we, are we going to entertain the audience? Are we going to educate the audience? Are we going to unify the audience? What are we going to do with this?
John, our director, John Irwin, he is a visionary, and this is his vision. It's the movie he's wanted to make for a long time. And he brought us on to help him write it because he was so busy he didn't have time to write it himself. And we always
Mhm.
knew from the beginning that we would write a version or two or whatever, and then ultimately before they shot, he would take it and kind of do his own spin on it. I mean, there's a lot of our, there's a lot of our stuff in there. It's the three of us wrote it together basically.
Okay.
But John has one goal: to entertain the audience. And he'll say it over and over again that he's not interested in making like an art house film. He just wants to tell a story that moves the audience and that the audience has a good time. And that's where his directing comes from, which I think is great. I mean, that's kind of a
Oh yeah.
Sullivan's Travels message, right? You're just
Yeah.
trying to entertain the audience. So our objective, period, was not to teach, not to have a political statement. It was just to tell a great story. And the shock for me, because I knew nothing about it, and I'm kind of to use a word I learned in the movie that probably affected me more than any movie in the world. We can talk about Chinatown. A word I learned in there, métier, my métier, whatever, is adaptations. And this is, in essence, an adaptation. You're adapting someone's life. So I was expecting it, adaptations are really tough, and I was expecting it to be a lot more difficult. And then when I read the story of his life from 18 to 22, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a movie. We don't have to change
Yeah.
anything.
Well, yeah, it
Exactly
is.
what happened to him is a movie. And I'll just throw in now because I want people to understand this is not a what you're going to see if you tune into the History Channel on a Friday night and watch a documentary. It is a movie. It has action, it has romance, it has drama, it has failure, it has so much tension. And that's because that's what his life was like. We certainly had to adapt certain things. Kelsey Grammer's character is two characters merged together because we need it to be tight. It's a screenplay.
Sure.
We changed the timeline of a couple of things to make the movie more dramatic in real life. I have to be careful because I got in trouble in my first couple of interviews, Tom Holland style, of giving away spoilers. And I was like,
Oh,
it's history. What are you talking about spoilers? If you go watch the Titanic, I
It
hope you know what's
sinks.
going down, right? But they were right because nobody knows this story. And so there are things that happen in this movie that I didn't. So I'm like, okay, I'll stop spoiling things. But I think one that is safe to say is that the love of his life he met when she was married. And so we have him meet her a little bit before she gets married, so that in this movie, there's the hint that maybe they could end up together. And they certainly
yeah.
loved each other very much. So even though they didn't, and that's again, we have a great movie where the guy doesn't get the girl. I mean, the movie is about him failing over and over and over again, which is one of the more edifying things to me about the film is watching someone that we perceive that was this great man, and to see the struggles and the failure that he went through. It means when any of us have a bad day and life is very difficult, daily, stories like this can certainly help me get through a very bad day because I'm like, all right, George made it through, I can make it through.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
you're
makes
totally
me
right.
think about the scene when they're at Necessity and oh man, I'm
Yes,
gonna cry. That
yes,
was just such a hard thing, his friend is there
yeah.
and the guy is like, do we surrender? What do we do? And he's just like, I have failed. And
But
it's just like, yeah, you kind of failed, but at the same time, it wasn't your fault. Have, he didn't have backup. He didn't have support. He's kind of, um, just very like, everyone's kind of very like, oh, okay, sure thing, George, whatever you want to do, George, to him. And so but he's like out there, and I mean, this is a short time frame when you think about it, 18 to 22. That's a small time of your life, and to have so much happen in that time frame of what he did and what he did accomplish. I'm like, um his mom says something about failure in there, and I
the
can't remember the quote. And I would,
failure is God's tutor.
yes. And I was like, man, that was like one of my favorites. I don't mean to cry. I'm just a weepy person.
I cry at the end of the movie all the time. There's two things that make me cry, so I can't do a spoiler. But for those who haven't seen it, at some point towards the end of the movie, George comes face to face with some men who were trying to kill him.
Yeah,
And they have a conversation, and that is a verbatim, real event that happened. It happened a few years later, so we moved the timeline to have a killer scene towards the end of the movie, but it is not an embellishment. It
it
happened.
just happened.
Yeah.
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 So when that scene happens, and then the very final scene with the coach happens, yeah, I fall apart every time.
Oh, it's funny because my son is much like my husband, very big into history, loves history. I like it, but he
I don't
just
like
learned. He just learned. I like it enough, but they like love it. And so in school, he just learned all about George Washington and about the states and all of these things. And so he's in love with America right now. And
awesome.
all of this. So he watched this film, and there's the scene, without giving too much away, but my son knew the story, the scene with the gun
Yes.
and the fire or non-fire, I guess you would say. And I'm sitting there watching it. I know eventually this man becomes president, so he, much like the Titanic, I know something's gonna have to work out. But in that moment with the gun, I was like, no. And I
Yeah.
let out this audible gasp. I'm like, what is going to happen right now? And like I was on the edge of my seat. And so it's so well done. And so I can't say enough good things about it because one thing is I'm not a huge uh, war type
Right.
person.
Right.
Um, and so I was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna watch this movie. My boys watched it. They liked it. I'm gonna watch it. I'm going into it open-minded. But I would say it's as much as a war movie as it is a political movie. And that's not what it is. It's about George Washington and his life. And this is just a backdrop to it. And it's just, I don't know. It's really well done.
Thank you. I'm glad you. I mean, John is amazing. Cast is amazing. What they were able to do without a lot of money. I mean, it has scope. It has spectacle. The costumes are great. A lot of the cast likes to call it a combination of Sense and Sensibility and The Revenant.
Oh,
Mm.
there you
Yeah,
go.
it has aspects of both. So, and I just think it's a great adventure story. It's just a great, it's not a big budgeted movie like Titanic and Gone with the Wind, but I think it has that feel. It feels like a movie.
It's
Uh,
epic.
you
It
know,
feels
Oh
epic
yeah.
for
Yeah.
even for a 5-year span. It feels like
Yeah.
this epic of his life, which leads me to my next question. This movie could have a sequel. Have you talked about going into older Washington?
It obviously is going to, in part, depend on how it does in the theaters.
Uh-huh.
Uh, One of John's visions, whether it happens or not, is to do a multi-season television series about the Revolution.
Mm,
Okay.
Each season would pick a section of the Revolution, and you slowly walk through it, as opposed to in one movie. And maybe one section is, the writing of the Declaration of Independence, and one section is this, and one section is that, or one section focuses on, you know, Paul Revere's right, whatever. He's got that all in his head. And his vision is that even if it is a TV series, every once in a while you would have a movie come out. So the hope at some point is that, and he's very enmeshed also right now in House of David, which is again a multi-season TV series about King David's life. Not meant to be political or religious. It's just here's David's life as
right.
it happened. So um, I think if this movie does well, and once King David is finished or at least coming towards the end, then yeah, maybe we'll see.
Maybe. Okay.
Or uh, it's the origin of our country is such a passion of John's, and my mom is partly why I was able to get this job, because my mother, both my parents died very young, but my mother was an American history professor, and her specialties and obsessions were the Revolution and the Civil War / Reconstruction. And when I was young, all she wanted to do was get me interested in it, and I had no interest in it. I just wanted to talk about movies. And one of our family's favorite movies is the very first National Lampoon's Vacation, because we took those vacations every summer. You would pile in the station wagon and drive somewhere and fight the whole time, and it was a nightmare. And there's a big speech. There's a big speech Chevy Chase makes at the end of the movie that's so horrifically vulgar. And my dad was a very famous cursor. He would embarrass Quentin Tarantino, I think, if they were in the same room together. And my dad would make those speeches all the time. But every summer, when my brother and I wanted to go to Disneyland, we were drugged by my mother to the East Coast, and we saw every frickin' Civil War battlefield. If there was a sign up, we had to pull over on the side of the road. And we're like, oh, can we please go to Disneyland? Now, the genius, the method to her madness was that when we hit American history in school, we'd been to every place. And so it came alive for us.
Mm,
But the joke really, with at least within our writing team, is that when I got this job and had to read 5 biographies of George Washington and read a lot more about the beginnings of the Revolution, she's like smirking up in heaven, because I finally had to immerse myself in the world that she loved so much. So, uh, so I'm it's how we get choked up. The movie means a lot to me for a variety of reasons, but certainly because I love my mom very much, and
Aw,
it was fun to kind of finally be part of her world.
oh, that's great.
that's sweet.
I like when you said you approached history in school, and all of a sudden all those trips came alive for you, right? And what Laura was talking about with our son, that's what happened with this movie.
Yeah,
He's watching it. I'm like, I know this. He knew it before, like as it was approaching. I know what's going to happen now. And he would say it. He's like, this is this scene, and the change in his eyes, where it's kind of like it's not all hogwash,
right.
like it's not all fake. I mean, like he heard it in school, and he believed it, but then like he got to see it in the movie, and it was like, yeah, that's what happened. That's really what went on, and he was really into it. And I, circling back to what we were talking about with the theater experience, I way hope people go and see this in theaters. I'm most certainly gonna go watch it again in theaters. Um, and I I feel we talk about this a lot. So there's a lot of division out there. Um, and one of the coolest things about cinema is that you're sitting in a room full of people who disagree with you.
Yes.
Um, but you're all together watching this thing,
Sharing the
and
same experience. Yes.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and you're unified for a moment. You come
Yeah.
out, you talk about it, and this movie will do that. This movie will do that. If for just a fraction of, someone's life, you'll be able to go in and watch this movie with somebody else and have a great conversation and talk about the very key things that we've mentioned in here, such as learning from failure. What a universal
Yeah.
lesson. And um, it's beautifully displayed in this film. You guys did just a banger of a job with that script. I'm with Laura. I can't speak high enough about it, and I don't want people to think on like Amazon reviews here. I'm I genuinely, legitimately love this movie. If I didn't, I would probably be just asking you more questions and just nodding and so on. But I really, it moved me. It touched me in a wonderful way. You guys, you did a great job.
Thank you. Another experience I had that was very moving is that I may have mentioned this earlier, when you write in Hollywood, you often write something and then they take it and you have nothing to do with it. I mean, writers traditionally in Hollywood are lower than craft services and the PA out in the parking lot 2 blocks away who's trying to manage traffic. I saw
Right.
a quote the other day from Louis B. Mayer, and he said he was writing to someone in a memo, and he said, "We all agree the most important person in any movie is the writer. And I also must say we can never let them know that." So, so you often have things taken away and they change. The very opening of the movie, when George comes out of a wagon and there's this long single tracking shot in the middle of this battle. Um, uh, John invited Diedrich and I, my co-writer, to the set one day in Ireland, and that was the day they were shooting that scene that day. And so we go to the set, and I'm standing there next to John, and I'm seeing they're not shooting anything, but I'm seeing everything, the extras and the guns and the horses and all this kind of stuff. And then they shoot that scene with explosions and gunshots and horses flying and all this kind of stuff. And I humiliated myself. I started weeping just standing there watching it because it was such a thrill to see something I co-wrote come to life so vividly in front of me. It was definitely a career highlight, and
Aw.
they referenced that a lot. But I think ultimately I think it made John feel good. He was like, "All right, this is working," because Cynic over here is sitting here crying next to me. So
Oh, it's cool because you feel seen, right? Yeah, as the writer, you feel like they got it. They got what I was going for, and they agreed with it. And what a perfect marriage of script and cinema and the acting. I'm gonna do a quick before we get in here. I want to do a quick um plug, or not plug, but kind of shout out, I suppose, to one of the actors. All of the acting in this movie is top notch. But the one for me that really stood out a lot was you can help me with the actor's name. But he played Joseph Jumonville, the French
oh
leader,
yeah, wasn't he great?
Clément Toyon or something.
No
Oh
idea.
my gosh,
Yeah, great.
he is wonderful. Oh man, loved him.
But anyway, yeah, he's great. I loved Andy Serkis. I mean, I always love Andy
Yeah,
Serkis, but I thought, I mean, they're all, Serbian Kingsley's great, Kelsey Grammer, Mary Louise Parker. For me, I was very nervous because this movie lives or dies on George, and it's not an
yeah.
easy part. And John
Mm.
was very adamant that it had to be a quote unknown. And William Franklin Miller is going to be a huge star. I think
Oh
he's
yeah,
fantastic in the movie. It doesn't hurt that he's gorgeous with those blue eyes. I mean, he's just so good. So the first time I saw the movie, I was like, yes,
Yeah.
George is awesome. So
Yeah,
good.
you're no,
yeah,
you're totally right. I was almost anticipating to just have my respect fall on the peripheral characters, just because unknowns are
Oh yeah,
so such a wild card,
yeah,
and I loved him. He sold it. He sold me.
We
He was a good pick.
Yeah, we just had the big opening in Nashville, and so a lot of the actors were there. And I was joking with Diedrich, my writing partner, afterwards. I was like, you know who I think the two best actors in the movie are? They're these two guys who are brothers, the Fisk brothers,
Yeah.
who are these kind of little, bozo Virginia colonists who end up having a big part to do in the movie. And they're great in the movie. And then I met them at the premiere, and they are 180 degrees antithetical to who those characters were. And I was like, okay, you guys are really good actors, because who you are in the movie is nothing like who you are in real life. I'm an actor. I love good acting, and it was a thrill to meet all the gentleman who plays Lawrence, his older brother. I thought was wonderful.
Boss.
Yeah,
Oh man. Yeah.
yeah.
Really well
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. Super, super good. Again, great job, Tom. Your work in this is wonderful and very evident. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about that afterward. What I noticed between this and the present, some of the similarities. Um, and but what a great movie. It opens this weekend, Young Washington. Um, go see it. Go take anybody you want, spend some time with, and just enjoy a good story. You're not going to get beat over the head with the message or anything. You're just going to watch a fantastic movie.
Just a good.
And I think what yeah, really wonderful. Tom, thank you so much, man.
Oh, thank you. I will be back anytime. I love it.
Oh,
That's
good.
awesome. I'll hold you to that. We need to
Please.
finish a conversation. We'll talk about Godfather. And what's the one you told them to watch, Jay?
Odds Against Tomorrow.
Odds Against
Yeah, I'll take
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. I didn't, I've got a great Chinatown story, and I'm just going to throw out a movie I'm obsessed with that a lot of people haven't seen, and when you see it, your head will explode. It's called Dolores Claiborne
Oh,
with
I've seen that one.
Kathy Bates.
Yep.
Yeah.
I teach it. It is visually stunning. Narrative. Tony Gilroy wrote one of the best scripts of all time. Great adaptation. Taylor Hackford, great director. And there's another. I mean, Kathy Bates is phenomenal. She says it's her best performance. And there's a woman in that movie, Judy Parfitt, who is jaw dropping. Gives but anyway, it's just a fantastic movie. So I always love
Have to
throw it out.
revisit it.
Yeah, it's great.
right.
Very quickly before we go, I want to mention we don't have a whole lot of time, but I want to mention your Bags and Grace.
Thank you.
And what a great nonprofit. Quickly tell us what that's about and where people can go to help.
So a few years ago, I started a nonprofit. It's an actual 501c3. You can get a tax deduction if you donate. It's called Bags and Grace, bagsandgrace.com. And Los Angeles, Southern California, has the largest population of homeless people living on the street, really anywhere in America, one of the biggest places in the US. To be blunt, if you are unhoused, LA is the place to come, because the weather's good. You can survive longer here than, in Seattle or New York or something. And I was raised by two very generous, giving people who modeled that. And I'm kind of Mr. Fix-It. And so when 5 or 6, I guess it was about 7 years ago, driving around LA and just seeing the population growing and seeing these people in need, I just thought, what can I do? And so I started making very small bags of food and water to hand out to people when I saw a guy or a woman standing there with a sign. And the charity took over. And so now it's an actual 501c3. The bags are huge. Each bag, which is filled with water, socks, protein drinks, tons of food, sundries. We have bags for women that have feminine hygiene products and panties. They all have, anyway. Each bag will keep someone alive 3 to 5 days, and we deliver them to people. There might be another charity down the street that's great, but it might be 2 miles away and it's hard to get to. So our mission is, you don't have to do anything. We bring the bags to you. And that's what we do.
That's great. You're a hell of a guy, Tom.
Well, thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you for all that you do for your community. Thank you for all that you've done so far for us as audience members. We're looking forward to seeing all these great things that you've got yet to come still for us. So thank you everybody for listening. And as always,
That's our take.